Welcome back to another episode of the Lehigh Valley Prospects Field Hockey Podcast presented by Smith Sports Media. I'm your host, LJ Smith, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Caitlin Hoover, the Oswego State field hockey coach. Caitlin, thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
I'm very excited to tell your story, but talk about your journey to now becoming the Lakers head field hockey coach. So you're the leader of a program. So thinking about that, what was it like your first season as a collegiate head coach? Let's reflect back on that 2023 season.
Oh, I was stressed. I was stressed all the time. And I was always like, am I doing this right? Should I try something new? And it was definitely trial and error all the time. I had a young team that I walked into. There was only 15 girls here at the time. There's only 4 seniors. I was like, all right, can I mold you guys? Will we listen? It was, trial and error, rebuilding. We're still definitely rebuilding. And that's where we've been at for a little bit. But just kind of taking the step of creating what I'm looking for and kind of moving forward with it.
And that season, though, you open the season at home against Manhattanville, and you come away with a win in your first collegiate head coaching experience. Walk us through what that moment was like standing on Laker Turf Stadium, and you earn your first win as a head coach, your first collegiate game.
At first, I didn't believe it. I was like, is this real? I didn't expect that. I was like, am I going to win any games this year? I don't know. It was a surreal feeling. And then afterwards, I called Britt and I was like, yeah, we won. She was like, do you have the game ball? And I was like, well, no. And she's like, well, go get it. She's like, that's a big deal. You need to keep that.
That little memento to remember.
Yeah. I don't think I fully reflected in the moment of you accomplished your first win as a lead of a program. And I just kind of looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, we got the win. All right, next game.
Yeah, for sure. But that's also the thought process. You don't want to dwell on the past, but also acknowledging how important it is to come away with a victory at the collegiate level. So that's an awesome credit to you. You just finished your 3rd season at the helm of this Lakers squad. So talk me through what it's been like being the head coach of SUNY Oswego.
It's been good. I've had great groups of girls come in that have only helped elevate the program every year. I was looking to continue to do that every year. It's been good. It's definitely a change and kind of navigating from Division 2 to Division 3 still. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, we can do this, this, and this. I'm like, actually, no, we can't, because this is Division 3 and your academics are your important part. Let's find the good balance in between. But it's been good. It's given me a little more of seeing work-life balance of where I can also take myself away a little bit and not just be always field hockey minded.
So has that been I don't want to say a challenge, but has that been something you've seen a difference in going from Division 2 to Division 3 in your most recent change, and now you've just concluded your 3rd season? There obviously are differences, but what was one thing that was the biggest difference that sticks out in your head from Division 2 to Division 3?
I think it was just more of my off-season practice time. When I got here, we only had 15 days we could use in the spring. And that's when I got here in March. And I was like, I have 15 days to figure out these girls.
Yeah.
And see what I have going into the season. That was definitely the biggest struggle. Now we have 25 days. And I'm just like, well, I already know them now. I could have used this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's definitely that was the biggest struggle right up front. I feel like going forward, it's just actually kind of helped a little bit, because I was like, oh, we focused on basics and little things I knew we had to cover first instead of looking at big picture.
Okay, that's good to know. That definitely. So now that we kind of covered how you got here and reflected a little bit about your last couple of seasons at the head of the Lakers squad, the big question I always ask to transition into the recruiting side of things: how would your team describe you and your coaching style?
Boy, some of them are going to be she talks too much and talks too fast, for sure. But I think we've actually we've established such a good relationship. Some of these girls have only had me, and then others have had other coaches as well, because we're kind of in that mixture period yet. It's a time.
Okay.
Coaching style wise, I'm very hands-on, and I'm very much on the little things lead to big things. So that's kind of how our practices are focused. We'll start with just passing, and then we got to build it up to bring next level of everything. So are they always happy with that? No, because they're why are we just passing and pulling? But later in life, they'll be oh, this is why.
The fundamentals definitely make or break you on the field, for sure. Now moving, like I said, into the recruiting side of things, do you have a staff? Is it just you that works on recruiting, that works with your team? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay.
which is fine. It lets me have like firsthand experience in everything. I feel like if at first I was like sending in assistant recruiting, I'd be like, well, I need to see that kid too, because I would just be nervous. So it kind of helps a little bit that I'm just in the full front of everything with it. Granted, would I like to take some recruiting breaks? Yeah, but we don't have time for that. But it kind of helps too, of like I can see like personality on the field too and be like, oh, does that relate when they do come for like on campus visits? Because personality is like a really big thing for me, bringing it onto my team. So it just kind of seeing like both sides. I'm like, oh, okay, like I can kind of have a full picture then of my recruits coming in.
So taking full accountability for your entire program, which it's a daunting task. I can imagine doing everything kind of as a one-person show, but it also makes it that much more rewarding knowing that everything that you're touching, you're bringing into the program, you're making an impact on. So I can imagine that's daunting but rewarding, I feel is an easy way to put that, right?
Perfect way to put it.
Okay. So now you mentioned going recruiting. How can prospective student athletes find you? Where can they find you? What events do you attend?
So we always post it on our social media. That's like the easiest way because like girls follow that all the time.
Yeah.
So it's always on there. Great. If you're going to a tournament and you're like, oh, I'm really interested in Oswego, if you send me an email, I can usually like finagle my schedule around enough that if there's more than one of you there, I can make my way there. But yeah, so it's usually like the big recruiting tournaments like Shooting Star Thanksgiving in Virginia, Winter Escape in January, all the Shooting Stars over Easter and all that good stuff. And then like the smaller Surf and Sand and Apex events are also like my little favorites. I'll just pop in and out because they're only a day long.
Yeah, for sure. Do you host any camps or clinics to get student athletes on campus?
So we do a fall and spring clinic every year. The dates always change, just kind of depending weather. I try to
Yeah.
like look at it and be like, oh, it'll still be warm at this time.
Yeah, for sure, and that's a whole other thing you have to take into account as well. So you mentioned going to these recruiting events, you host some camps and clinics. How important is it for you to have your prospective student athletes step foot on Oswego's campus?
I think that's like one of the most important things. Just because as you're looking for schools, you want to make sure you get the full feel, the full effect. It's 4 years of your life, and you want to make sure you're having the right pick. So like being able to come to a clinic, because then you get a feel for my coaching style and me like right in the feel of things. You meet the team right out the door. You're like, oh, does my personality, do I vibe with this? And on top, you get to see campus in full swing, kind of without the pressure of like, oh, I'm here with a coach and this is happening. You can kind of like see it for yourself with a little less pressure.
And what is that like for them stepping foot on campus? What are the top programs you see your student athletes go into? What are some of the selling points for Oswego?
Education program is half my roster by far. We have a great program for it, which is awesome. Our professors are great with like the student teaching, like working around it too, because that's always can be a headache, especially with having to get those hours in and observation. So education for sure. Business has been our other big selling point. And I'm slowly getting my bio majors.
That's awesome. So now looking at what you are just having graduate from the program. You had senior day. I was looking at this. Your senior day was very early on in the season.
Yeah.
I thought I missed it. You're graduating seniors. How many do you have leaving the program this year?
I have 7 leaving the program this year.
Okay, so reinforcing those spots in your roster, what types of student athletes are you looking to bring in? Is it more position by position? Are you looking for total athlete package? What are you kind of looking for in your ideal recruit?
A bit of both. I definitely need to find some forwards for sure, very specific position wise. I love versatile kids. If you can come in and play mid and forward or mid and back or anything that you can kind of help yourself around the field is huge for me because I'll find a spot for you if you can make yourself work in that puzzle piece for me.
Love that. So having the idea of I have specific spots I am looking to fill, but having the flexibility of, all right, this athlete is really kind of on the up and willing to be workable. How important is that to have student athletes that are amenable to finding and getting on the field in different positions?
I mean, it's my favorite thing because sometimes they'll come in and be like, well, I only play forward. I'm like, well, I see you as a mid and we're going to try you there for a second. And you can see some of them be like scared and be like, I don't know about this. And then others like, well, okay, like I'll try it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you end up back in that forward position anyway, but I still need to try there just to see.
Well, for sure, and then having them see how they work in that position, but also have them work that much harder to ensure that, hey, this is where I see myself. I'm going to work as hard as I can to get to that position. So almost instilling some self-motivation as well to kind of earn that spot that they see them fitting into your squad. Moving into the athletic expectations, do you have any athletic expectations for them to be a part of your program?
My biggest thing is we don't have like an expectation. I just need someone that's respectful and a hard worker. Field hockey side of things, it's my job to make you better. That's why I get paid. So if you come in just having like that open mindset and work ethic, I can work with that. I don't need you to be the most skilled. I just need you to make sure you always give that effort.
Okay. I like that a lot. I feel like throughout all these interviews I'm doing, there's not one clear-cut answer, and I love that each coach has their own coaching style. That's how you sell yourself and sell your program. So I like that there's not like one plain answer I get. I love the variety of answers I'm getting. And moving on now, because obviously you're a student and athlete, what are some academic expectations you have set out for your program?
Well, my freshmen love it. Not really. They come in, they go right into study hall because my time management was horrible in college, and I don't want them to go through that. Lived and learned, and I was like, you don't want to go through it.
Yeah.
So they come in, they have study hall mandated 3 hours a week, which isn't, I don't think, outrageous. And as long as your GPA is above a 2.5, I'm like, okay, you can go out of study hall. If it's below that, then we spend more time together. We have 5 hours together then in the spring. We kind of get a success plan together. Where are we struggling? What do we need to kind of figure out to help you excel then kind of going forward?
And then you mentioned spending that more quality time together from the academic side of things. Is there a different coach that they get in the office than on the field? Or is it kind of like what you see is what you get all the time, 24/7?
I feel like office me is definitely a little more laid back than on the field. Granted, we have fun days on the field, but other times I'm like, we just need to do this. Then office time is like, oh, she's sitting there and she's relaxed and she can like have a normal conversation about stuff that doesn't even pertain to academics or field hockey in general.
So showing that personality side as well, how important that is for you to make a connection with your student athletes, because ultimately they chose you and the academic program, your field hockey program, but they're choosing you as their leader. So talking about how they find you fit best for them too, that's very important to show that you have that personality that they can bond with. They trust you. So building that connection, how do you see yourself building connections with prospective student athletes, but also your current population of student athletes?
My prospective, when they come on visits, it's only with me. We spend 2.5 hours together, kind of get to see it all. We walk through campus, you ask whatever questions you have. I feel like that's important because the walls are down. It's not as scary because it's just a normal conversation as we're walking through campus. It's not us staring at each other chair from chair and being like, I need to answer this correctly. Because the random questions are like, do you have siblings? Other sports do you do? It's just kind of getting a feel for like, oh, what is your life outside of field hockey?
I like that a lot, showing that you're not just there to talk the sport, you are able to have those personal conversations. And I'm sure that makes the parents feel more comfortable knowing that they're in good hands of a coach that knows how to have a conversation. They'll understand their daughter, and that whole process just that goes that much further along from the family side of things as well. Moving into the latter end here as we get ready to wrap up here shortly, what are some of the values you look to instill into the student athletes that choose to enter your program?
Big things I want them to gain and leave with is you're gaining skills for after college, for after graduation, for real life. So you need to learn of like how to have like those hard conversations and like respectful manners to keep your work ethic of like where you want to be. And kind of like my big thing is take your little wins because they're going to make big wins later down the road. So just kind of like having that little mindset at the beginning to like see where you're going to be later.
Excellent. I love that. Taking little wins, they will grow into bigger wins. Such a simple thing, but it's funny how a lot of these simple things they're oversights, and until you have an influential person tell them to you and make that difference, that's an awesome little tidbit that you just give to your athletes that probably can unlock so much potential. For
If
sure.
they listen to it, depends the day.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a listening component that is required, but having that accessibility to have just those little tidbits that can make just that much of a difference for your athletes. And now, the last thing I'll ask here before we get ready: what separates your program from other programs, other options that student athletes have to choose? What makes SUNY Oswego the spot for athletes?
Well, I mean, all of my team is very big on tanning, and we're right on the lake. So if that's what you're looking for, we got it down pat.
Excellent.
But I had to say, my team culture that I've and dynamics I walked into is they really do care about each other, not just on the field, but off. And that's not always like the easiest find. I was blessed enough to walk in with that and kind of like keep that going forward too.
Caitlin, do you have anything else you'd like to say, add to the listeners that may be tuning in to choose SUNY Oswego?
I mean, right now you can apply for free through the SUNY Common app. That's open for another week. But I think just the big thing is always, maybe not even just for Oswego, but make sure you have your big list of schools and not be afraid of looking at areas that you might not always expect. I've had a lot of kids come and be like, oh, I didn't expect to like it this much. And you don't know until you actually go and look at it.
For sure. And if it's not on your radar, you're not exactly comfortable, don't hesitate to reach out, step outside of your comfort zone. Caitlin Hoover, the head coach of SUNY Oswego, thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon, sharing your story and shedding light on your Laker program. It's been a pleasure to learn about your story, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lehigh Valley Prospects podcast presented by Smith Sports Media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, searching Lehigh Valley Prospects Podcast. You can stream the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, searching Lehigh Valley Prospects Podcast. Follow us on social media on Instagram at LV Prospects Podcast, on X at LV Prospects, and on Facebook at Lehigh Valley Prospects Podcast. Until next time, I'm your host, LJ Smith, signing off.